Welcome, everybody. We're watching you come on in. Glad to have you, and we will begin in roughly 2 minutes once we see the numbers start slowing down. Good morning, everybody. Afternoon, everybody. We're looking forward to getting started. We'll be starting soon, and we'll do some generic announcements before we begin. So please hold off on the Q&A at this point. We will go over a lot of the topics that come up.
Andrew, it's fun. The first three questions that came in are our top three FAQs. And yes, as Andrew said, we'll answer a lot of those questions. So if you can hold off on your questions for a moment, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, we'll just give another minute because I still see participants trickling in. And I don't want to say things that need to be repeated. Okay, I'm going to begin. So welcome, everybody. This is the Association of Educational Service Districts Learning Management System 101. That is what LMS stands for. A learning management system is a home base or a hub that you do all your work, grading, etc. with for your students. So it is your main system of support for students, remote learning, hybrid learning, blended learning, or in the classroom. You can use a learning management system as a hub for your students. For this session, you will notice that your video as well as your microphone are shut off. That's because with the larger numbers, we have chosen to go to a webinar format. A webinar format is available that way as participants, you can sit back and relax. We also wanted to make sure that you're aware that we have captioning available. So at the bottom of your screen with the black bar, you're going to see a button that says CC, where you can turn on closed captioning. Feel free to turn that on. It's available to you. We also want to thank our captioner as well as our ASL interpreters who are here today, and they will be switching about every 15 minutes. So please be aware that there is ASL interpretation as well as closed captioning. You will notice that their video is spotlighted, which means it will not change from that spot. If you want to make it bigger, you can click the little bar next to it because we have panel view, drag it over, and it makes that video bigger. Now, a few logistics. Number one, we're going to talk about clock hours because this is probably our number one question that we get all the time. Clock hours are based on attendance. You being here in the audience today for this webinar counts as your clock hour attendance for part 1. You'll need to be here the next 2 days to count for parts 2 and part 3. So clock hours are being recorded for you. Your attendance is being taken. You do not need to type in your name or email in the question answer. We don't need personal emails. We are taking a report from Zoom. When it had you log in, it had you type in your name. That is what we will be using to count for your clock hour record. You don't need to do anything else. Just sit back, relax. You will also notice these sessions are being recorded, which means if you miss a session, you can watch the recording later. We will have them hosted on the AESD website. However, because our clock hour purposes are for attendance, the recordings will not count as clock hours, but you can get the information you need or re-watch if we go a little too fast, because we only have you for 3 hours. So here's a couple options of interaction that you do have. Number one, you have the Q&A feature. The Q&A feature allows you to ask a question. My biggest thing is, though, please ask a question that's relevant to the topics, and we'll go over what each topic is that we're doing today. Today, we're specifically talking about Microsoft Teams. So try to keep your questions about that, and we'll organize really what those go through. If we do not get to your question, we will be taking those and using them to help adjust tomorrow and day 3. So please be aware we will get to it if we can't get to it today. You'll also notice the chat option. The chat option is really for us to chat with you. You cannot reply. However, we will be using it to send you links, for example, the slide deck or access to a poll. So it's really for you to get access to materials and resources. If you want to chat with us or ask questions, it goes in the Q&A. But I will warn you, questions about clock hours or other topics outside of Microsoft Teams, we might dismiss because there's so many other questions that are being asked. We need to get to the ones about Microsoft Teams with our limited time frame. Jeff, is there anything I missed from logistics before we introduce ourselves?
I think you've got it well covered, and I see lots of questions coming in. Remember that we will listen to you as best as we can, and you have those questions. Please put the questions about Teams. Today we're focusing on Microsoft Teams. If you have questions about them, that'll really help us to craft our time together to best suit your needs.
Perfect. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to begin starting about Learning Management System Part 1 for Microsoft Teams. And the first thing I want to do is introduce myself. I'm Andrew Hickman. I work at Capital Region ESD 113, which is near Olympia, Washington. And we serve that region as well as work on the statewide team of the AESD Learning Management System members. My co-host today is Jeff. And Jeff, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. I'm Jeff Crawford. I live in Spokane, Washington, and I work with ESD 101 in our region as a math specialist.
And we have a lot of other people helping in the background, and we'll introduce them in a few minutes. The first thing we want to do is we want to acknowledge whose land we are on. Yeah, so I'm going to give a moment for you to look at this screen to acknowledge whose land we're on. And we would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the first people, past and present. We recognize that no matter where each of us are located in this moment, we are on the traditional homelands of Washington tribal nations. We honor with gratitude the land itself and call to practice seventh generation thinking and caring for the land and people. We want to take a moment to recognize that. I'm going to pause for a few minutes. Next, we want you to take the opportunity to think about where you currently live. Can you, to yourself, answer the questions about the tribe that's nearest you? Can you answer these questions and just answer them for yourself? Now, we would also like to recognize those that help develop these series, as well as who are in the background helping today with the Q&A and other supports. So once again, we have every ESD represented, which means it's a statewide effort. These will be your main contacts if you need additional support, resources, or that one-on-one touch. Please look for the person that's in your region. So once again, my co-host is Jeff Crawford, and his partner is Steve Schreiner. From ESD 105, we have Larry Davidson and Darcy Jameson. From ESD 112, we have Catherine Livick, as well as Christina Wambold. And they are both in the background answering questions and helping with other facilitation. I'm Andrew Hickman. We also have Susan Lathrop from ESD 114. We have Amber McCulloch from ESD 112, which is Puget Sound ESD. We have Mike Esping from ESD 123. We have Pete Phillips from North Central ESD, as well as Amy Colburn from ESD 189. And Pete, as well as Amber, are also in the background helping support today. So thank you everybody for being here, and we look forward to working with you and supporting as much as we can. Our overall objectives for this series are on the screen. Our big objective is we want each participant to gain an initial understanding of effectively using your learning management system. Once again, a learning management system is kind of a home base. It's where you're going to put everything for your students to access. It's your main area to go to. We want you to have ideas of how to organize classes, materials, activities, assignments, quizzes, or tests. We want you to be able to use these with your students. We want to help you investigate resources as well as develop understandings for best practice. And we're going to talk about some of these today. Now, this is a 3-part series, and so we want to make sure that we are honoring all 3 parts and breaking it down. Now, with this series specifically, we're going to have multiple presenters, and so they're going to pick off where each of us leave off. So it's going to be a good series. Our series outline for day 1, today we're really engaging you on accessing Microsoft Teams and navigating the overall menus. So what are your options? That's what we're going through today. The initial setup, talking about the background, how to log in, how to create a class, how to join a class, other features that are available. So it's really the basic introduction to Microsoft Teams. Tomorrow in part 2, we're going to go into managing materials and resources, engaging students, look at the different activities, talk specifically about Notebook, and all of the other features available. In part 3, it addresses how to do assessments and communication, as well as talking with parents. So those are our 3 parts. Once you're done with the 3-day series, you should be able to walk away with experiences and learning your learning management system. Now, my best practice with any technology tool is to explore. I use the word play a lot, but I know a lot of people prefer the word explore. It's playing for me because I enjoy going through and playing with technology. But we encourage you every night to explore the features that we demonstrate because we know hands-on experience can sometimes be the best for you. Okay, Jeff, do we have anything to add here or any questions we need to address yet?
I would encourage everybody, Andrew, as you said, to explore, explore, explore. That's when we learn best. Andrew and I will be walking through some of the basics, but for you even tonight, it'll be great to explore and to dive in.
Which will also help with those questions, and maybe you find something that we forgot to cover and you can ask us to demonstrate that for the whole audience. So we appreciate you exploring as well. Our agenda for today is we are going to go through our welcome and introductions, which we're going through now. We're about to look at our framing, which is kind of the background information of the learning management system. We're going to then dive into the LMS. We're going to actually get into Teams and going to the website, showing you the features. And then at the end, we're going to do a reflection and synthesize. So let's start with our framing. And for our framing today, we're going to use an activity through Poll Everywhere. Now, Poll Everywhere works with any learning management system because it's a separate website. The one I'm using, however, is an add-on to a Google Slide. So that's why it may look a little different than if you use their direct website. So here is my Poll Everywhere, and it is live. So I have somebody who is going to be posting this link in your chat. Remember, chat is where you can access links. So we are sending you a link to this Poll Everywhere. I want you to please, on this Poll Everywhere, type in 3 words that describe your ideal remote learning classroom. Ooh, and they're starting to pile in already. So 3 words. The more words that come, the bigger they're going to get. So you'll notice engaging has really just taken a leap. So this is called a word cloud. That's what I'm using here. There's other polling services. I like the word cloud because it's a very quick visual representation.
Andrew, I really appreciate this also with Poll Everywhere allows a lot of people to contribute immediately and it's not so chaotic. There's a little software help on the back end to organize the thinking. So it makes it easier for us to get all of this data and make sense of it.
Yeah. And what I'm really appreciating is some of the words that are popping out. So I'm going to just throw some of them out there. I love that engaging is the largest, interactive, organized, inviting. Oh, I haven't heard that one yet. Inviting is a great one. Participatory. Ooh, I don't know what happened there. It's growing again. Okay, responsive, organized, purposeful. Okay, I'm going to let this run for about 30 more seconds. I see kid, but I'm assuming that went with kid friendly.
Andrew, I see a lot of these really describe some of the frameworks or those principles, those guiding principles or design principles that we know work best for learning, even if it's remote learning.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that.
Okay, so I'm going to lock the quiz. I'm going to pause it, and we're going to see exactly if we can make a sentence for your ideal remote learning based on the words that appear to be the largest. Okay, so I'm locking it. Just lock the quiz. There's its last one. So our ideal remote learning classroom is easy, fun, accessible, and interactive through engaging, organized materials. Okay. So we're looking for a remote learning classroom that's fun, interactive, engaging, accessible, and organized. And all of that helps our framing because if I go to the next slide, we're going to talk about different principles that really do help our framing. So some of the principles that help us frame that we need to always be thinking about with our students, we need to always consider our content that we're going to do or our instruction around the state criteria and the instructional frameworks, the Danielson, Marzano, and Sell, because those really responsive to good teaching. That's what it is. It's what we do in the classroom to make it interactive, fun, engaging for students. We need to think about universal design for learning because that really meets the whole child, all of our students. We need to talk about social emotional learning because if they're not invested emotionally or if they're not able to connect with us or we're not able to connect with them, no learning will happen. We need to also be very mindful of culturally responsive teaching. What lessons are we doing? What content are we doing? Are we being culturally responsive as educators? All of these are important to the content that we provide to our students because it's what makes them invested and it helps make it engaging, fun, interactive, easy because they feel heard. Jeff, do you have anything to add with that?
I think it's just that notion, and I know on the next few slides you're going to be looking at like how do we reimagine what we're doing. What we've done in the classroom doesn't translate one-to-one to the virtual environment. So we have to think about why we're doing what we're doing because otherwise it's not going to work. And now is a great time to rethink through what we're doing and why we're doing it. And it's really important for us to frame that out. And that's why we're taking the time to do this. No matter what the nuts and bolts are, we really need to make sure our minds are framed on the right stuff so that we can really reach all students.
And we always get the question with this series of why are we spending so much time initially before getting into the learning management system about this? Well, the reason why we're addressing this is because it really does meet the needs of our students. And yeah, I can teach you the tool. I can teach you the buttons. I can teach you everything. But the content and meeting students' needs comes from these ideas. And so, yeah, you may know the tool, but how can you use it? Well, you need to be addressing these when you use the tool. So it has to be built in. This is the background. So that's why we're spending time on this.
And Andrew, it's what they wanted in their ideal classroom. It's aligned perfectly to all of these frameworks and guiding principles.
Don't you love data? Okay, so next, we need to make sure that we're centering on equity. Given the dual pandemics of COVID-19 and racism, now is the time to reimagine schools to become more humanizing and racially just. I'd like you to take a moment and read this statement from Chris Reichdahl. I will also read it aloud because this came from the Reopening Schools guidance that went out to all districts as well as the public, and I think it has an impact. Please take the opportunity to make changes you have wanted to make for years. Dive into your grading policies, homework policies, disparate technology access, learning standards, mastery and competency-based learning models, flexible options for students, multi-tiered systems of support, and other innovations. Superintendent Chris Reichdahl. I find that to be a powerful statement because this is our opportunity. We're making a shift in education. And right now, you're here learning about the tools. Well, these tools can help you and assist you make that shift. Some of the guidance also added values and an equity statement. So values that were posted in the reopening schools. We need to, number one, ensure equity. We need to have collaboration and service, and that means both with our teaching staff as well as our community, parents, and students. Achieving excellence through continuous improvement and really focus on the whole child. So as we do this, we want to make sure we have those values instilled in us as well as you as educators, which my experience with teachers are, these are where your focus is. This is where you're at, and we just want to continue this and help support you in that. The equity statement is powerful as well. Each student, family, and community possesses strengths and cultural knowledge that benefits their peers, educators, and schools. Once again, that collaboration. We should work together, learn from each other, and be open to new possibilities and ideas. Okay. With that, I'm going to pause for a second before we jump into our LMS and see if there are any additional questions in the Q&A, or if we need to add anything else before we begin.
It's looking good, Andrew.
Okay. So with this, here's what we're doing today. In part one, we are accessing the learning management system, which is Microsoft Teams for us. We're going to take an overview tour. I'll show as many features as I can today. And we're going to start out by creating a classroom, or a team in this case. And then we're going to join a classroom team. I do also want to mention that this is part of a 3-hour series, but we also have access to an on-demand series that went live today. And that registration is still open. It can take as many people as we need to. And I believe that registration will be posted in the chat soon, if not already. So if you want to take an on-demand, which means you get logged into Canvas and you can watch videos, rewind videos, and interact on your own time, which also counts for separate clock hours. So you could have a total of 9 possible if you do this as well as the on-demand. So here we go. I'm going to demonstrate how to get to Microsoft. So the first thing you could do, you have a couple different ways to get to your Teams account. Now, Microsoft Teams, your district will need to sign up for it. And I'm going to repeat that. Yes, you can get a free account. Yes, you can get on Teams with your personal. But what we need you to do, if you're going to go into Teams, is see where your district is at. They may have already created an account for you, as well as having access for you. So please, please, please talk with your administrator or your district IT representative, whoever is managing your Teams account. If you're here today, I'm assuming that Teams is one of your options. So I would like to just show a couple different ways to get here. Number one, I could simply search Google, Microsoft Teams. The very first link will take me to where I can log in. For Microsoft, you could also use Bing. Bing will take you there even faster. So there's Microsoft Teams. I've already gotten to their main page. This is what you will see. Notice it allows you to sign up for free, or if you're already using Teams, it says sign in now. So I could click this. I've already have an account because my agency has given me an account. And we can log into Teams. Teams does use your Outlook email or Hotmail, or it uses your district email address. So this is my work email, and it asked me to pick my account. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. If your account is not listed here, you can always push use another account and add it, which helps if you're using, for example, a separate device. I will mention that Teams does have a desktop or Mac or app version. I'm not demonstrating those today because most likely your district will want you to use the web version, which has all the same features. So I'm going to demonstrate the web version. The app version has the same features as well. It's just slightly different buttons to click. So I'm going to click on my account. My password is already ready for me. You please enter your password. If you click Forgot Password, one of two things will happen. Either it will let you find your password, or if Forgot Password is your option and your district is managing your accounts, it will ask your district account manager to help you reset your password. So you may not be able to reset your password on your own. You may have to message your district account manager. So I'm going to sign in, and you can choose if you want to stay signed in. If you're on a personal device or you're not on your work computer, I don't know if you want to stay signed in. I'm going to say yes, just for this instance. And it will take me directly to my Teams. Because of the way that I signed in, you'll notice it asks me if I want to get the app. I do not at this time. I'm going to use the web app because it shows the same features and I can stay in my web browser. So I'm going to click down below that says use the web app instead. And look at that. It logged me in. This takes me to my Teams dashboard. So you'll notice right here is my main dashboard. It's showing me these other teams. These are the ones that were created at my agency. These are teams that are public, that my agency created, that I could choose to join if I want. I'm not going to join them today because we want to start from scratch. So I'm going to pause there and see if there's any questions before I go over this whole menu of options and all the buttons available. Jeff, is there any questions for us?
No, not at this time.
Okay. So I'm at the Teams dashboard. I want to demonstrate a few things that you can see. Number one, you'll notice these are small little boxes. They look like cards, so I'm going to call them cards for today. I actually don't know the official name, just being transparent. But these are my team cards. And once again, if I hover over them, I could join one if I wanted to because they're public. That means they're open to anybody. Yeah. They could be private, which means I couldn't join them, but these are the public ones. Other features I see here at the bottom right, it allows me to turn on desktop notifications. If this is your first time logging in, I could turn on desktop notifications and it would send me notifications. I'm going to dismiss this for today. So there we go. At the top right, you're going to see a few things. Number one, the ability to search teams. So if you have a ton of teams here, because you can join as many as you want, you can join 100 if you'd like. That might be a little confusing to look at. So if I was to join teams, I could search for them in the search bar. So let's say I wanted to look for that distance learning one. I can search, and it only pulled up the distance learning one. Helps me with my filtering. Other things I see at the top right, my account information. Notice it shows a little red dot, which means I'm busy. It recognizes that I'm on a Zoom. I could click this and change this to I'm available, do not disturb, be right back, appear away. So those of you that are part of my team or have access to my account, you can see exactly what status I'm on. Also in account information in the top right, I have option to change my picture, as well as set a status message. For example, if I was about to go on vacation, I could say, I will be away from my office from blah, blah, blah. And I could put that on here. This has my bookmarked option, so my bookmarked teams, which we'll cover, and additional settings. There are keyboard shortcuts, as well as if I did not download that desktop app previously, or I wanted a mobile app of Teams, which yes, there's a mobile app, I could choose to download them again here. So those are my overall settings. I'm going to click just settings just to demonstrate what this does. The settings in the account settings allow me to change my theme look. I could change it to dark, high contrast for visual references. I could change it to list view. I personally prefer grid. I can change my main language as well as animations if there are any in Teams turned on. My privacy settings are here as well. Who has access? Do I allow surveys? Do I want to block callers? Let's say you get a repeated caller using your Teams calling, because yes, they have an internal calling system. And my notification settings, which is always important. And we will deal with notification settings more on Thursday, because that's day 3, communications. So the other thing I see in this corner, it says ESD 113. If you had multiple accounts, so here's 113, that's my main home. I could also log in as a guest. I could show what a guest looks like, which we'll talk about guest accounts. And if you had any other accounts tied to your email, you could drop down and select between them. So let's pause. I just went over a ton of information very quickly, and let's see where we're at.
So Andrew, this is perfect because I am not an expert on Teams, but I've dabbled enough, and I love the questions that are coming through. So one of them I see is like, can I delete a team that's been already created that we don't need anymore, or one that has maybe students rostered in already? Like, how does that work, or what would happen?
Yeah, you can manage teams, and I can demonstrate that today. We'll also go over that again in day 3, how to get
Great.
rid of a team. I've actually deleted a few teams today, so I can make just a fake one and show how easy it is to delete. Okay, other questions?
And on the side over there, that Teams icon that I see, is that just takes me like to my homepage for Teams. Like I can see all of my teams and everything right there.
Correct. This is our main menu, and we're going to go over this next.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's do it. Let's go over there. So over here on the left-hand side, you'll notice Teams uses the dot and line method as well. So whenever you see dots, this will take me to my main apps. So if I click this, it actually takes me out of Teams and allows me to access other apps that are part of my Office 365, so Microsoft 365. So I could have direct access to Outlook, my OneDrive, which is my storage system, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and these are all the ones that are online, the web versions. So this takes me to my web version. Down below are my notifications. So if something happens in one of my teams, I will get a notification here in my feed. You'll notice I could filter my feed. I can also change settings of my notifications again. So it takes me directly back. A lot of things in Teams talk to each other, and so you're able to get to things relatively easy. Below that, we have our chat, which is the opportunity to message people within your teams or within your organization. So this is the opportunity. I have a chat here available. I have other chats here available, and I could send a message. This is kind of our chat window to private chat with people, or you can add others. Notice there's the option to add more people to my chat. So we can make this a group chat, which we've done in a couple of these. We'll get into more into chats on communications on Thursday. We'll click the team ones in a minute. This also shows me any assignments. It takes me directly to my assignments option where I can put an assignment into a class. I haven't created a class yet because I'm going to make one with you. So when I make a class, I could just go to assignments and start one. This is my calendar. I'm afraid to open this because I know how much stuff I have on my calendar. There we go. Calls. This is where you could do a virtual call using Microsoft system, as well as our files, the things that we have stored in here. This, once again, is a storage system also. So through OneDrive. The 3 dots have additional apps that we've added. So these are ones that I've personally added. For example, the notebook. I use OneNote, and so this is put in here as an app. The OneNote app is different than the desktop version, so please be aware of that. Down below, we have a couple amazing features. Number 1, additional apps we could add, and we will get to this more on tomorrow, but there's a lot of them here that we could do. These are ones that Microsoft has put out for us to use. If I need any additional help, the help button is powerful. Teams also allows you to suggest features. So they allow you to suggest something that maybe they don't have yet. Now Teams is starting to be used more, and so the suggest feature will help them add things. I will talk about their training in a few minutes because I appreciate the training that they have available. And lastly, this is to download the app again, or if I want to transfer things down. Okay, so download the desktop app. Now, let's go ahead and get back to our Teams button. So I click the Teams button. It takes me right back to that main menu. There we go. I'm back. The next thing that I want to do is create my team. But before I do that, I'm going to talk about two things. Number one, they put these right next to each other on purpose. You create a team, which means you make one from scratch, or you have the option to join a team. Joining a team is pretty simple, and we're going to teach that in a second. But let's start with create a team. So if I click create a team, look at the options I get. Number one, it asks me if I want to create a team class. This is what you'll use for students. This is discussions, projects, assignments. It tells you that down below. They give you an option to do a PLC. So maybe you and your first grade team want to work together, and they can help you create a PLC, and you can share resources, have those discussions in an online virtual environment. Maybe your district staff or your school principal wants to do a staff team where you're getting information and resources directly through your team, having those discussions, having those video chats. They could make a staff one. And lastly, they added an other, which is kind of just an open end. It's not framed for anything, but they recommend using it for clubs, groups, after school. So your job is to pick which team. We're here specifically for working with students. So we're going to click class. That's what we're going to start with. So I'm going to click class. And this is my option. It says create a new team. What do we want to call your class? I'm calling this LMS 101 because that's what we are. And this is my sandbox. Sandbox is just a term used when we want to have something that we can play in. I know I can mess with this and delete it, which I might do by the end of today. It asks you if you can have a description. Those are optional. So I'm saying this is a class we're going to play in and explore. And then I'm just going to push next. Very simple. Title, next. It then instantly wants me to add students, but I can skip this step. And it also wants me to add teachers. So I could always add another teacher. Jeff, would you like to be another teacher in my class?
I would love to.
Why don't you paste your email in my chat and I will add you in and see if it lets you. That's the question.
Oh, good idea.
Thank you. So Jeff has given me his email.
If I can type it correctly. Thanks, Andrew.
Welcome. Okay, so there we go. I can add him as a guest. There we are. He's now added as a guest teacher in my class. The reason why he's a guest is because he is not affiliated with my school district or my ESD. So for you, it's your school district. Okay, and I'm going to close. So now this took me directly to my class team. This is where I get really excited, just really excited because of all the features that are available. When you first log in to your class team, and this is what's going to happen every single time, it will take you to your posts area. The way I think of posts is that you could have discussions here. You can share information with students. You can give resources out. This is a feed. This is where you add posts. This is where notifications go. This is my main area. But before I even post anything, there's a couple things I want to show. Number one, it identifies that I added Jeff as my guest. It also identifies him as a guest up here. So I have two areas where it shows that he's a guest. And I'm going to zoom in on my screen because I know this is smaller. There we go. So Jeff is a guest, shows guest up here. I can click any of these and it demonstrates. The next thing I want to show is it took me to a general channel. So the links over here, the boxes that I can click are called channels. That's what Teams uses. That's their organization structure. They organize by channels. Yes, you can have more than one channel, but general is your main channel as a teacher that you can do everything. Your general channel is your main channel, and that needs to stay. That's that magical area that I don't mess with much, except for when I'm doing assignments or I'm sharing resources. It's my main class area. It's called channel. So let's just explore some of the buttons here. First off, whenever you see 3 dots or multiple dots or lines in most technology, those are menus. Those are additional options. So I'm going to click the lines just to show what's in here. In this line, I get an option to manage team. Here's that option to add channels. Think about channels as additional topics. So maybe you have one first grade team, but you have a math channel, a science channel, an ELA channel. And yes, you can add just certain people to each channel. You can differentiate by channels because you can share resources and materials just to those channels. So things put in general go to everybody. In channels, you can really differentiate even more. I could add members. I could choose to leave the team. I could edit the team. I could get a link directly here. So if I posted this link in chat, all of you that could join as a guest, as long as your district allows outside joining. Okay, so let's talk about that. Teams does have security features. Some of the security features are that your district could turn off allowance of anybody with an outside email to join your team. My ESD has made it so anybody with an outside email can join the team as a guest. Guests can look, but they can't always touch. So I've actually allowed Jeff to touch, especially since I made him a teacher in this. So he can do a lot of things. Notice how Jeff just posted a post in my general file. And I can manage tags. Tagging really helps with the search. You'll notice the search bar up here. I could tag math and I could search math and it would show me everything I've posted with a math tag. So that's my main 3 dot settings. Down below that, I have 3 dots on this channel. I can turn on or off notifications. I could manage this channel. So who can post? Right now it says anyone. I can make it so only I could post as the owner. And I could say anyone could post and show alert that the posting will notify everyone. So that recommends for a large team. So those are my permissions that I have in general. So now I'm going to look at what Jeff did. So he said he did an @ which means it directly commented to me. I could reply directly to Jeff. And there's features down below that I can add. For example, I could make this bigger and do the bold, italic, underline. I could do paragraph, all my main formatting settings. I can cite, I can add a table, I can do a page break. This just opens up my world of opportunities of what I can post. But beyond that, I could add attachments. I could add little emojis. I could add a sticker. I think this one's pretty fun. Okay. I could set up a calendar invite. I could do a meet, which means we're video chatting, which we will probably demonstrate tomorrow. Okay. I could add to the stream, which means just talking, which is an additional app I did. I could praise, as well as other app features that I have added. Okay. And when I'm ready, I can send it to Jeff.
Andrew, I just got that notification on my end, and I'm wondering, this is for general, because it's like this is our whole classroom, so everybody in our class can see this right now?
No, because you directly messaged this to me with the @
Gotcha.
So directly message it to me, and I should be the only one that sees this. Now, there's a couple things I want to demonstrate before I talk about the main tabs at top, and it's these 2 buttons here. Number 1, upload class materials. This allows me to directly put in files that I might already have created. Think about a folder system. Class materials is the main area that everything goes. So it's all my files. But if I go back to my general post area, this next one is very powerful. And I definitely recommend when you start your first team to bookmark this page when it takes you to it. So if I click on it, It says find help and training. This was specially designed for teachers using class teams. So if I click this, watch how powerful this is. Back to school help, get started now, or jump to video training. Watch these video trainings. The video trainings have a set of materials and training videos created to help teachers if they get stuck in a lot of different areas. For example, 6 tips for assigning and grading, how to add more apps, organize team notes, using immersive reader. So they have video tutorials on how to do this. What Jeff just did is getting attention with at mentions. So he did an at to me, it directly messaged me. Okay. So they have help and they also have training. So that was topics. Now, if I click training, these are specific trainings from start to finish of how to set up your team. So that's available when you first log into your team, which I find pretty powerful. It's always available once again in the help button at the bottom. So if you lose it, let's say we post more, these will disappear, then you can click the help button down here. So let's pause there. I'm sure we have some questions, and let's see what questions we can take. Anything for me, Jeff? Oh, you're muted.
There are a few things I notice with chat features, and I want to do a little research, but it's around that at symbol, making sure that is this private or not private. But other than that, I think we're right on target. I think there's some things that people are excited about for day 2 and day 3. Remember that setting up team meetings and a lot of other things are going to be coming up in tomorrow and on the Thursday session.
Definitely. So with that, I want to go through and do a couple things at the top. So I'm going to talk about files once again. Files tab in general is where you can upload and do anything you want, including create new templates. You can make new folders. You can organize your class using files. Everything is here from Microsoft. So all of their apps are available. So if you do a file here, so let's say I do a new Word document. Okay, it creates a doc, it opens it up within my Teams window using the online Microsoft version of Office 365. I could add this, okay, and I can close it. And it gets posted in my files area. Now, since this is a doc in my file, I do have the option to copy a link directly to it, which allows other people to work on it as well. I could download it, I could share it in SharePoint, etc. The next tab is Class Notebook. Class Notebook will be spending more time on tomorrow. You'll notice I do not have one set up yet. It uses OneNote. Now, OneNote is the option of thinking about a virtual notebook where you have those colored tabs on the side. Well, OneNote Class Notebook sets up a tab for each of your students where they are all in this one giant class notebook that you have access to. They don't see that. They see their notebook only. They don't see other students' notebooks. But you can post assignments to it, you can share links to it, and you can organize it by new tabs. So I could make, here's all my student tabs. Underneath the student tabs, I can do a math tab, a science tab, an ELA tab. I can do a PE, a music, and then be able to organize my research information, everything within this class notebook. It's a powerful tool. It is optional though. You don't have to do a class notebook. So thinking about how you want to organize your team is really something that needs to happen. And we always recommend collaborating with others to do it. The next one, which we'll spend a majority of our time tomorrow, is assignments. So these are things that you can assign the students in your class. So if I click to get started, it tells me what kind of assignments I can do. So I push create and I can do an assignment or a quiz or find something that's existing. So if I clicked assignment, and well, like I said, we'll do more tomorrow. We have features here that I can set up, including things like rubrics, which we'll talk about on day 3, assigning it to all students or specific students, and the due date, which, yes, adds it to their calendar. Where is this notification going? You have these options, and we'll do this tomorrow. Internal grades, and once again, the internal grading system is one that's in Microsoft Teams. You need to talk with your team how you're doing this. Is this your main grading system? Or is this like having a hard copy grades that you're going to transfer to your other system like Skyward? So have those discussions with your team. Is there an SIS integration yet? Not that I'm aware of. SIS integration means it will transfer for me. I'm not aware of one yet, but I've been wrong before. Then the plus tab. The plus allows you once again to add more apps, more tabs, other things that you want to use. For example, quizzes uses forms, which is Microsoft Forms. So surveys, quizzes, and polls, you could add that. Or maybe it's a wiki page. Maybe it's the PDF viewer. Maybe it's that access to SharePoint. So you get to decide which apps and then add the tabs. Always talk with your district before doing that. The last thing I'm going to show in here today is how to add channels and what that looks like. Because channels are your main organization system. First off, over here, I had the option, my 3 dots, to add a channel. I want to show what this looks like. So add a channel, channel name. I want this to be my educational technology students. You can give a description if you want and set your privacy. I'm adding the channel. The channel goes in my team. So you notice I still have my general, and now I have my ed tech. My educational technology channel, if you look at the top, does not have as many options. I no longer have access to my class notebook in this channel. I no longer have access to all my other features in general, because once again, general is my main area for my students. This is a separate channel, so think of a layer of organization. And in this channel, what I'm allowed to do is I can manage the channel and set some privacy things. You want to be able to moderate this channel, which means you would see everything they post. So if I turn this on, whoever manages the channel is the team owners. Right now, that's me. I own this team. So I'm the only one that can moderate. So I can allow you to post, but I have to approve it before it gets posted. Okay. So that's channels. And yes, you can add certain people to channels. Okay. With that, I'm looking at our time. Jeff, do we have any last questions I can try to answer? And I don't have any students in here, so I can't add individual students into this channel, unfortunately.
I think we're looking at a lot of questions for tomorrow, and I think we're going to take some time even tonight to play, and explore. It's going to be the best way to find out a lot of our answers.
Perfect. Thank you, Jeff. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go back to our slide deck. And I wanted to give the opportunity for you to synthesize and apply. Now remember, today was really about setting your team up, looking at all the buttons, what to click, talking about what links are available. And so we want you to synthesize and apply. So if you could use the bit.ly link that was just posted in the chat to have a reflection, or if you take your smartphone, turn on the camera and you can post it, or you can point it at the QR code right there. The QR code will open up the same form. Actually, it says, do you want to open up the same form? And then if you click that, it will allow you to take this form on your device. So either method that you find, either the link or using the phone.
Andrew, as we're synthesizing and filling out that link, can you talk a little bit about the connection or disconnection between the class journal that you were just sharing and OneNote?
Definitely. So the class notebook is one that is living inside of Teams. OneNote is an app or program that you should have downloaded on your desktop. Yes, there is an online version, but if you are trying to use OneNote and then import it into your class notebook, it's not going to be a clean import because they are separate, because class notebook is really about dividing it out for your students where they have access to those resources instantly. OneNote is really a personal journal. So think about that kind of disconnect. You can do it. Yes, you can share resources. Yes, you can add things from your OneNote, but it's not as clean as just an upload. It doesn't work like that. So Class Notebook and OneNote, yes, same format, same thing, but they don't sync together perfectly.
Andrew, I see a lot of great perspectives and questions that are coming through still about like channel setups and how to do that and what would I do. One of the beauties of all of these different systems, in particular with Microsoft Teams, is you have the power and the options to create the online class environment however you and your team sees best fit. So for a lot of these questions, like how should I really use the channels or what should I do with this? That's probably best answered in your community, in your professional learning space, where you're collaborating with your colleagues, with your principal, with your community, and finding out what would be best. And now's that great time to think about it. And I'll call it up once more, that framework and those design principles that you mentioned earlier, Andrew, we really should keep those in mind because that's not only best practice, we're called by law to implement these best practices as we're doing whatever remote, in-person, or fully virtual, or some type of blended learning. We're supposed to be doing that. So as you're thinking about those decisions about what channels to use or how to set them up, be mindful of those guiding principles and those frameworks that we have, but really we trust you and your school district and your team to make those decisions.
And I want to just highlight one more thing that you said. You said talking to your team about making those decisions because consistency is what is best for students. So if they interact with this at a 5th grade and they go to 6th grade and they see the same kind of channels and they see the same communication and they see the same access, it's going to be something they're comfortable with and used to. So having those discussions now and then applying them is important. Okay, because it's about the kids. So
thanks for that reminder, Andrew. We gotta minimize stresses and we gotta minimize chaos for the kids because it's all about their learning.
Now, let's go to our final slide. Tonight, what we would like you to do is please try to access your district's selected learning management system. So if it's Microsoft Teams and that's the one that you are in, we want you to go see if you can set up your team. So all we've done so far is we click create, we pick class. Maybe you want to look at what a PLC looks like. Go ahead and start one of those. Your job tonight, if you have access, and I'm going to repeat that, if you have access, if you do not, and you know Teams is your selected learning management system, please contact somebody at your district to get you access. Then figure out how to join others. The other thing I would recommend is if you and multiple people from your building are taking this together, add each other as teachers. Since you're in the same network, you will not be a guest. And what that does is when we do add activities, assignments, quizzes, you could share those resources between classes. That way you're not doubling the work. So think about how you want to do this, explore, play, have some fun. We will be back tomorrow to dive in deeper to activities as well as what to click, where to click, things like that. Okay. I even think I'm done like 2 minutes early. Let's take one more question if we have it available.
There was a lot of questions about the chatting and making sure that students aren't chatting privately. I know we'll address this more tomorrow, but I didn't know if there was any small words you could share.
Small words I can share. A lot of these are district setups. So for example, mine right now has everything turned on because I don't have students or young students. So I have adult settings where everything is turned on. In the background, your district can set up where the private chat is turned off, and we'll demonstrate kind of where that is with the menu options as well. So right now, yes, everything is turned on. You can privately chat. You can turn those off.
Thanks, Andrew. This gives me a lot to think about and gives me some space to frame. I know that I would like to set up a team where I could collaborate with other educators to think about, like maybe within my department or across my building, how do I want to set these things up and just to play. And we invite you tonight to play, explore with the tool and see what you can find.
Yeah, just do a sandbox class like I did. You can delete it very simply. You saw when you clicked on the channel, the three little dots by the team, it had delete team at the bottom. That's all you have to do. It's 2 clicks. Delete, confirm, delete. Okay, so play in a sandbox. And with that, we're going to do what we always do when we leave a webinar, Zoom, or meeting, because we're in a virtual state now. We wave. So thank you, everybody, for coming, and we're going to wave at you. It was good seeing you, and thank you for being here.
Goodbye, everyone.